Okay, on the bench today we have another eBay purchase. This one is an iBox, so it's a Bluetooth radio, and the description said not working, but I contacted the seller just to get a bit more information. So it says the charger port's loose. It will work off battery, won't work when it's powered by the USB being plugged in, and that's basically that. So I think first thing, let's see if it does in fact power on. It's on, but I'm not seeing anything on the display. No, actually I can, but only at a certain angle and very faint. Volume's working. Let's see if it'll pick anything up. Don't have the best reception in here. Switched off. Battery's obviously more or less dead. Right, okay, I'll leave that just now. I'm hoping it's because of the low battery that screen's so faint. That doesn't look good. Right, let's open up, have a look. Right, so what we got? Little rubber pads there. I think we can assume they'll come out to reveal some screws. Screws in there. Right, screwdriver. This one should do it. Actually, I've not had a look at the port yet. I'm not even seeing anything in there. Wait a second, see if I can see anything under the microscope. Right, under the scope, and there's quite a few scratch marks in the area. That's not just my imagination, that look empty. Can't see anything in there at all. There's nothing there. Right, okay, right. Back to the overhead view. Might as well just continue taking these screws out. And one of those screws is do the same. I think that would confirm someone's been inside. Let's get a spudging tool. See if this back will come off. There we go. So we got main circuit boards inside there, and here's our little charge port, which is empty. And basically see right through that. So there's the rest of it in here. And there's nothing rattling about, so I think that confirms that it's been opened before, I think. Two screws holding this little circuit board on. Powered by an 18650. Well, if it was needing replaced, I do have a few of them. Yeah. Yeah, they clean through. It's basically just the frame that's left. Right. Now, switching it on. I'm assuming this is going to be soldered at the other end as well. Right. So what we got our port shell, an auxiliary jack, and there's 4 wires, so the USB it's just going to be positive and negative, there's not going to be any data or anything. Let's stick this here a second. I'm going to get the microscope and have a look, see how the board's looking. Right, back into the scope. And it's clearly been ripped off. The only pin that's remaining would be the ground. Got a wee pointer. So this one here's fine. Still secured. So what else we've got? An ID pin, data plus and minus, and your 5 volts positive. So the thing is, I don't think this thing connects. I had a quick look at the manual there, and it doesn't mention anything about hooking up to a computer to update it or do anything with a PC. So are these even used? I mean, they are connected. This one, let's see if I can see that. Yeah, this one we go to that via, and that one goes to that via. I'm not seeing any kind of connection on that pin at all though. The ID pin. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a new port on. Now I'm going to have to scrape a bit back here connect a wire there. That one I should be able to just solder in place, and again I'll run a wire to that via for this pin and on this one as well. And there's no harm in connecting them anyway. And we'll see how it goes for there. I just have to check, make sure I've got a port that will fit. I should do, it looks pretty standard. Right, I'll be back when I've looked out a lot. Right, I'm going to start by clearing these holes. Just use a little bit of solder wick. Right, give this a clean. Oh, managed to break one of these wires off. Oh, actually, scrub that, managed to break two of them off. So what I'm going to do, get a little metal toothpick and I'm just going to scrape back here a little, expose a bit of the copper. Let's say that one, that's solid. And I'm going to do the same with these two vias. Don't think the data pins are required, but I'll do them anyway. Right. So, a little bit of flux. That should do that. I'll just grab a port. I think I'll use the helping hands to hold the board while I get that done. Right. So a quick look. Try and keep these wires out of the way. Change this angle slightly, and that's solid on the board now. And I'll use my smaller iron for this. I'm just going to connect this pin first. Looks connected. Right. Just see how I can best angle this. A little bit of wire. There we go. Clean that up so I can have a better look. And make sure it's connected. And make sure I don't have a short to the next pin, which we don't, so that's fine. I'm just going to double check this. Yeah, that one's connected fine. Right, that's the port in. Oh, and then I just connected the positive and negative because that's all it's actually needing. I redid these wires as well and added solder to the bottom and on the top side just to give it a bit of extra support. So now we can test it and see if it's actually charging. I do have my meter. Unfortunately, because of where that's plugged in, you're not going to be able to see it. I'll let you know what it says. So plugged in, the LED's coming on. About 4.5 volts rather than 5, but it's taken, if I can see this, stand up. Yeah, what's that? 690 milliamps. So it's definitely charging. Right, so that's that. So I'm going to unplug this just now. And get this board back in place. Yep, that lines up perfectly. And we'll get these two screws back in. May have to go a bit deeper into this as well, of course, because the screen definitely looks a bit dull. I wouldn't think that was battery charge related. Yep, lines up perfectly. Just pop this in place just now. And plug this charger back in. Go. I don't know if you'll see that, but that orange light again. Well, looks like it was down purely just down to the lack of charge in the battery. And I don't know if you can see that top corner there, battery's charging. Right, okay, so before we give this a proper test, I'm going to leave that charging. And once the charging's done, we'll come back, give it a test, make sure all the functions are working as they should be. Okay, I brought this through to another room to test, because I get virtually zero signal. So let's see what it does. Okay, so that's the DAB. And that seems to be fine. FM. Bluetooth we'll test when we go back through it. And auxiliary, again we'd have to test that separately. But yep.
Storytellers is a soundscape production for BBC Radio 4.
It's definitely fine. 50% charge. I ran out of patience while I was waiting.
And you can hear that gold prize winning feature.
Let's get it back through. Right, back through on the workbench. So last thing I'm going to test on camera would be the Bluetooth. I've got Bluetooth and I'll connect that to my phone. Bear with me a second here. iTunes box. So I'll just pair this up. And that's it. And I'll go to YouTube. The heating controls. There we go. So that's working fine. Right. Switch that off. The only thing I've left to really test is the auxiliary port, but I can't see that being a problem. But I'll check it. Right, so basically with this one we had a port that had been knocked off completely, and the internal part of the port was gone. I think a lot of the problem with these is that the legs on the ports, they don't really go through the boards far enough to get a real solid connection. I had to solder the replacement one I put in had the same size of legs. I had to end up soldering it on both sides of the board just to make sure it was nice and secure. Especially when it's a new port, because they tend to be quite tight initially, you know, when you first put them in. So yeah, if that's not soldered down well enough, then you're just going to end up with the same problem. Right, that's us back together. All the screws are in. Really just left to finish off the charge it fully, and give it a nice wipe down. It's generally in quite good condition. So just a quick wipe over. Happy with that, because it's quite a nice unit. The sound's not too bad at all. So I'll definitely find a use for this in the house. Problem: USB basically ripped clean off the board, taking several pads with it. It's not really that surprising. You know, the pins on these ports are quite short, so they don't stick through the board overly far. And they're factory soldered only on the one side. So the replacement ports soldered both sides. I've also added a bit of solder mask over the repair, again just to help it a bit, give it more support. I can't see this being a problem again. So yeah, that's basically that. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, then please subscribe to the channel. If you hit the bell notification icon, you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers.